Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, I'm Emily and I love talking about books. So in today's video I will be sharing a shit ton of book recommendations, and they're all summer themed. They're all books you can read in the summer book recs, beach reads, you know, that kind of stuff. And it's a lot of books. Like, I have over 50 plus book recommendations, so there are going to be books for everybody. I have romance, thriller, fiction. I don't really have fantasy, but I feel like fantasy you can just read when you're in a fantasy mood, you know? There's no season for fantasy, I feel like, you know what I mean? But there are specific romance books and stuff like that that are perfect for summer, and I'm gonna talk all about them. And it's gonna be 50 plus ideas plus my summer TBR with even more ideas. And yeah, I think it's gonna be great. I really think I found some great books that might not be the most common known summer book recs. So if you need new ones, I've got you. And yeah, I think it's gonna be great. If you don't know my channel, I currently live in the US. I'm originally from Germany, so I'm living in a student house. That's why the walls are green and orange. It's not great. And that's also why I don't have any of my books with me, because they're all at home in Germany. I wish I could film the video with them and show you all the books, but I'm just gonna put the picture here of all the covers, and I think it's gonna be still really good. And you know, it's all about the books, not the ugly room behind me. Okay, and I even put on a little summer dress for the occasion. Okay, so let's start. So we're gonna start with romance, then some thrillers, and then just some general fiction. I don't know what kind of genre they are. So let's start with romance. And first we have The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. It is such a fun romance book. Like, it is perfect for summer because it's just quick, easy, makes you laugh out loud. It's not super long, so you can literally read it in one sitting at the beach, which I feel like is perfect. And it takes place in Texas at a ranch for some parts, and that was just such a good setting. I really loved it. Like, it was a 10 out of 10 and so funny. And one of the main characters is famous, which was also so funny, and then the female main character was the bodyguard of the man, and that was just like, and because of that, because it was reversed, it was even better, I feel like, personally. So I really love that. Then Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I really love that book so much because it was such a good romance book. It felt so fresh and funny, and I love the writing style. I really want to read more of Abby Jimenez books, but I want to get the physical copies, so I would need to wait until I get home. But yeah, I really love that book, and it takes place partly in a big city and then partly in a small town, and it's just like the perfect escapism book, you know what I mean? And there's an age gap between the main characters, but the woman is older, which is also like a little bit different than usual romance books, and I really like that one, so that was really good. And then one of my favorite authors is Christina Lauren. I love her books, their books so much. And one of the best ones I feel like is Love and Other Words. I love that book so much. It has just one of the best romances ever. Like, it really feels epic, you know what I mean? Like, they were just meant to be together, and so I feel like that book is just perfect. And it takes place in a small town at a, I think, lake house or something. I don't really know, but it is just the perfect setting, and it's like best friends to strangers to lovers. Something happened 11 years ago and then you figure it out, so there's a huge plot twist in the romance, which is also great, and the characters love books, and it's just so good. Another book by them is The Unhoneymooners, which is just like perfect for summer because it takes place, I think, in Hawaii, because they're going on a honeymoon but they aren't even married, so they're kind of fake dating, and it's just a lot of fun. And I feel like it's really quick and easy to read. Like, I read it on a car ride and I read it in one sitting and I was completely addicted. I just love their writing style, so that was really good. And the last Christina Lauren book that I'm going to recommend is Something Wilder. That was also so fun and I really liked it. Like, I feel like not so many people liked it, but I feel like it was really great. It was a little bit different because it takes place in Utah and they're kind of doing this like treasure hunt, which is a little bit different, and it was like second chance romance, and there was a mystery involved, and it was just a lot of fun again, and really quick and easy to read, and I really enjoyed it. The next book is Heartbones by Colleen Hoover. I know she gave a lot of controversial opinions about her books, and I do agree with some of them, but I feel like Heartbones, because it was YA, it was just so cute and fun, and I love the characters, and it was just really cute romance with a little bit of a bigger plot twist again, and also the setting was just perfect. I think it was in Texas at the ocean, and with like those great houses, and then there was a bonfire, and it was just perfect beach summer vibes, you know, everything you want from a summer was in that book, so that's why I loved it. Then we have Every Summer After by Christina Fortune. You know, you see the book here, which is very similar to Love and Other Words, and I do prefer Love and Other Words, but it was still good, just very similar. So I don't know why it was so similar, but if you like Love and Other Words, I feel like you will also like Every Summer After, you know what I mean? So yeah, because it's again best friends to strangers to lovers at a lake house, perfect setting in Canada, beautiful setting, very well written, so I love that. Yeah, it was just really fun again. Then we have the Bellinger Sister series by Tessa Bailey. I personally didn't love that series so much, but a lot of other people love it, so I thought I would share it because it is really perfect for summer, because it takes place in a small town in, I think, Washington or something like that, at the ocean, and it's about those two sisters who go to the small town and then fall in love with people who live there in the small town, and it's just fun, I feel like, and I love personal growth from the characters. But yeah, I just personally don't love Tessa Bailey's writing style so much. It is very, very spicy. I just need to point that out. On the same note, kind of, is Things We Never Got Over, because it's again small town, kind of enemies to lovers, very spicy, perfectly escapism. I feel like that town is just so fun, and I would personally love to live there. The characters I didn't personally 100% love. I feel like they were a little bit immature for their age, but I love the whole town, and it was just really fun to read, and I feel like a lot of people love the books, so I think it would be great for summer. Then we have my personal favorite summer books that I will be rereading this summer, because I'm gonna annotate them, and they just give me the perfect summer vibes, everything that I personally love in summer and stuff like that. And the author is Emily Henry. I love her so much, and the first thing I'm gonna do when I get back home in June is reread all her summer books, just to get into the summer vibes, you know, because Beach Read, People We Meet on Vacation and Book Lovers are one of my favorite romance books ever, so I just love them. Beach Read is between two authors, they fall in love, and it takes place, I don't know exactly where, but I think it's in Northeast. They live in like two big houses at the ocean, and it's just really fun to read. And they also write a book, which is also like, I love people who love books in books, if that makes sense. So that's why I really love Beach Read. And then People We Meet on Vacation is just perfect for people who love vacations and traveling and experiencing a lot. And it's also friends to lovers, which is one of my favorite tropes ever. And I loved Poppy and Alex as well, the characters. They were so much fun, and I personally really liked that book as well. It was so fun, and wanting to figure out why they didn't talk for such a long time was also really interesting. So I personally love People We Meet on Vacation. And then Book Lovers is my personal favorite just because Nora is such a great main character. She's so strong. She's a little bit different than other girls, but like really actually different. And her thoughts are just so funny. And I feel like Emily Henry just writes really good banter between the characters. And again, in this book, it was just Chef's Kiss. And it takes place in a small town, again, in South Carolina, I think? Yeah. So that was really good as well. And also the male main character was just great, I would say. So I really loved him as well. Then we have The Summer of Broken Rules, which is just such a fun YA romance in Martha Vineyard. And again, in a big beach house close to the beach, a big group of people because they come together for the wedding of, I think, a cousin of the main. So they all go there, and it's just such a fun book. I loved so many times out loud, and it has some great Taylor Swift references in the book as well. And the female main character's sister recently died, so she's also dealing with a lot of grief and stuff like that. But then there's this fun romance that is just so entertaining between two teenagers. So it was just so much fun, and I really love that. Like, I gave it 5 stars for just a fun little romance because it was just great, you know what I mean? Then we have the Summer I Turned Pretty series. I'm thinking about rereading it, especially because the 2nd season is coming out, so I might reread just the 2nd book. I don't know, because I personally don't love the series, but it is great for summer because, again, big house in North England, thank you, at the beach. There were these 2 families, Belly and then 2 brothers and the other family, and they've all been best friends, but she's always had a crush on one of the guys, and then he likes her as well, but the other brother likes her as well. So there's a little love triangle, and it's just very nostalgic and fun to read about, and so easy to read. Like, those books you can read in like 5 hours. Very easy to read. Super YA, fun little romance, you know, not very spicy, but just very cute and perfect for summer, I feel like. That one's also just really fun. I feel like most of those romance books are just very fun, not too deep, you know. And yeah, then we have a deep romance book that is just gonna pull at your heartstrings in so many ways, but it's just so wonderfully and perfectly written that it's just perfection. And that's Aristotle and Dante discover the secrets of the universe. That is just such a beautiful romance story between Aristotle and Dante. It takes place in the 1980s, I think, in New Mexico, and they're stargazing, they're traveling with a jeep. They are currently in school, but there's the summer vacation or like summer holiday, you know. So it's just the cutest book ever. It is very sad, but I feel like if you have read a lot of summer romance books, rom-coms, it is the perfect refresher from all that, you know what I mean? So yeah, I do think it's perfect. Then we have Red, White, Royal Blue, which is not particularly summery, but the movie is coming out soon. I'm guessing in June, I'm hoping in June, but this summer it will come out. I'm just waiting for the trailer right now because I'm so excited, and I love rereading books before the movie comes out or afterwards, because when you watch the movie, you love the movie, you again get obsessed with the book, so you reread the book and you're like, oh my god, that's even better, and you're just obsessed. And that's what I'm gonna do. So yeah, great time reread Red, Red, Royal Blue, and it's just like this romance. I wouldn't call it fun because it is very sad, because it's about the Prince of England and the son of the president of the USA in the US. And so it is a bit sad and like forbidden kind of romance, but just so many laugh out loud moments and great quotes. I'm so excited to annotate that book, and it's just perfection. So I'm excited to read that book again soon when I get back home. Then those were all the romance recommendations. There will be more later when I share my TBR for this summer, because there will be a lot of them as well. But for thrillers, I didn't have particularly a lot of thrillers that are like set in like beach vibes, you know what I mean? But I have some, and I feel like a lot of thrillers you can just read even though they are not based in a beach town or something like that, because they're just quick and easy bingeable books. But yeah, first of all, I have Reckless Girls, which takes place in a deserted island around Hawaii with a group of, not particularly friends, more like strangers, who all go there together, and then one of them dies and you're trying to figure out what happened, and then one of them disappears, and it just gets very strange really quick. But the setting was perfection. It was beautiful. It was amazing, honestly. I love that. And yeah, it was the perfect summer thriller, I feel like. Then The Last Time I Lied by Riley Sager, because it takes place at our summer girls camp, and it was just a lot of fun. And the plot twist, like the plot twist at the end of the book, I was shook. I was listening to the audiobook and I was like, my jaw was on the floor, like I was shook. So that was also really fun. And yeah, then we have The Cousins by Karen you see it over here, because it's about 4 cousins who need to visit their grandma, and their grandma lives in this big house close to the beach, I think, and they're visiting her over summer holiday or something like that. But I remember it being very summery, or the most summery of her books, and it's a YA mystery. Like, what can you not love about it, you know what I mean? So it was really fun, and I think one of my favorites out of all of her books, because I read them all, which I'm just a little bit proud of, you know. And I'm excited for her new release that's gonna come out, I think, at the end of the year or something. So The Cousins. And then I have The Housemaid, which is not particularly summery, but it is just such a quick, easy bingeable thriller. And The Housemaid Secret as well. So you have 2 books, and they're set in New York, which like is really fun. And then they're really short. They're on Kindle Unlimited. I personally read it on a plane. That was perfect because you were just really in the book. I really like that one. Then we go more into like general fiction, a little bit of romance, a little bit of everything. And yeah, I have Mary Jane, which is a little fiction about a girl. She's 14 years old and she's babysitting over summer. It's this like fun family who's rich but also very hippie, and she comes from a very strict family with like very different morals. And then she goes over to the other house and she learns so many new things about the world, opens up, and it was just so fun. I listened to the audiobook and it was a great experience, and I still remember so many things about the book, and it was just a lot of fun and a little bit different because it obviously takes place in the 70s, so that was really interesting. And yeah, I really liked it. And then we have A House in the Cerulean Sea, which I just love recommending because it is one of my favorite books. It was so wholesome, so heartwarming. It takes place in a house in the Cerulean Sea, so at the ocean again, which I feel like is very perfect for summer. And again, it was just really heartwarming, you know what I mean? And very comforting, I feel like, and just very cute. I love the characters because it is kind of a little bit fantasy, because there's this man and he goes to this orphanage, that's the house in the Cerulean Sea, but the children are not normal children. They are kind of like fairies, and I think one of them is like a gnome. So I can put in a picture right now so you can see the children, and they're just so fun and a lot of personal growth as well. So it was just a lot of fun to read. Then we have Ellen Hilderbrand, the queen of beach reads. I'm so excited to read more of her books this summer, because all of her books, or most of their books, are like set in Nantucket, and it's perfect for summer, I think, personally. So we have The Perfect Couple, which is a little bit of a mystery because it's about a wedding and all the guests go to Nantucket for the wedding, about rich people, and then the bridesmaid turns up dead and you're trying to figure out what happened. I think it all takes place kind of in 24 hours or something, and the plot twist was really good and I really liked it, and it just had really great summer vibes. And then we have The Paradise Trilogy by Ellen Hilderbrand, which takes place in the Virgin Islands of the US, so more of like really paradise Hawaii vibes, and it was super interesting to read about, and there was a lot of like culture of those islands in it as well. And then there was this mystery because basically it's about this perfect family who lives in the US, but then the husband dies in a helicopter crash, and the woman discovers that the husband had a second life in those Virgin Islands, had a lover and daughter. We love men so much, and she goes there, visits, and kind of falls in love with the whole island, and it's really fun and really sad at parts, but really interesting as well. And you know, trying to figure out why the helicopter crashed and all that kind of stuff, and yeah, just perfect summer vibes in general. Then we have Where the Crawdads Sing, which I read while reading a lot of summer romance books, and then there was a break and I read that one, and for me it was perfect because it was just a little bit different, because it's about a girl who grows up in the marsh in South Carolina, I think, in the 60s, I think, I would say, not quite sure. And so she grows up, it takes place over like from 4 years old to like 20, and she grows up all alone because her whole family just leaves her, and it was so heartbreaking and sad, but she's so in tune with the nature and stuff like that, so that was really beautiful. And then there's also a mystery aspect because later somebody of the town gets murdered, and you're trying to figure out why, how, and why the marsh girl, as she's called, is blamed for the murder, or like, you know. And there's a lot of like lawyer murder trial stuff because, you know, she is persecuted, I think, English, so and yeah, you're trying to figure out if he was innocent or actually killed him, and it's just a little bit different than your normal beach read, but really good. I really liked it. And then we have Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. I love her books so much. I feel like most of her books are perfect to read in summer because they're all set in California, so that's perfect, and they're very summery. So yeah, and Malibu Rising especially takes place in Malibu in the 80s, I think, or 90s, I'm not sure. And it's about this family who, or like group of siblings who throw this big summer party, and then things start going wrong, and it's just a lot going on and really fun. And I can't really explain what it's about, but I'm sure you heard of it, and if you haven't read it, go read it. I will be rereading it, so yeah. And then by Taylor Jenkins Reid we have Carrie Soto is back as well, because I feel like that is just really fun and a little bit different as well. But it takes place in Los Angeles. She's training at the beach to win the tennis championship after somebody won a lot of championships and is overpowering-ish. I don't know if that's the right word, but winning her world record for the most won US Opens, or like Opens in general. I don't really know tennis, but that's not the point. It's about Carrie, who's a strong female main character, amazing, so different but just great. And the relationship between her and her father is beautiful. There's a subplot of romance, which is also really fun. And yeah, I think the paperback is coming out soon, so if you haven't picked it up because it is a hardcover, now's the time, because the paperback is coming out and it looks very pretty. So that's on that. And then the only fantasy I have right here, which I just needed to recommend because I recently read it, absolutely loved it, I'm obsessed with it, and that is Six of Crows. And you might be thinking, Emily, why do you recommend this as a summer book? Well, because they're traveling, you know. If you know, you know. But no, it's basically about 6 friends who turn into this beautiful found family, which I'm just obsessed with, and who go on this big heist in another country, so you know, traveling. And it's just so fun, and I feel like you can binge it. It's super interesting, it keeps you on your toes, and I feel like that makes it the perfect summer book, you know. And if you want to read Crooked Kingdom, have fun, but you're gonna be very sad afterwards, so if you're ready for that, read that as well. Okay, so those were all my recommendations, all the books I have read and I think are perfect for summer. I hope you got some great recommendations out of these books. And now I'm just gonna share my summer TBR. Okay, first of all, we have Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune, who wrote Every Summer After. And it's about this couple or like friends who always meet up at the same date every year. It gives kind of November 9th by Colleen Hoover vibes, but it's fine. I'm still excited about the book, and I think it's gonna be a great summer read again. I mean, it takes place again at a lake, I think in Canada again, so you know, perfect. Then we have The Only One Left. I'm so excited about that book. It is it is the new thriller by Riley Sager, so yeah, and I think it takes place on a lonely island, so that might be perfect for summer. And otherwise it's just gonna be a quick bingeable book, so that's very nice. And then I have for me The Kind Worth Killing, which is also a thriller, which takes place at the airport. So I will be reading, it takes place at the airport, so I will be reading that book when I'm flying home on the plane, which I feel like is perfect. So yeah. Then we have The Villa by the same author who wrote Reckless Girls, and it just looks very summery. It's about a group of friends who go to this small town in Italy, which is super interesting, so I love that. I will be visiting Italy this year, and so I will be reading that book while I'm in Italy. Great thriller. I'm really excited for that one. And then a romance book is the Chestnut series, or Heartless, Powerless. I forgot the other name, but I really want to read those books, maybe while I'm still here, because they're about cowboys and I feel like that sounds just really fun, honestly. And yeah, I've heard so many great things about it, so I really just want to read it as well. And then we have Highly Suspicious and Unfairly Cute by Talia Hibbert, which is her new YA romance release, which takes place at a summer camp, I think, or partly at a summer camp. So that's why I want to read it, because summer vibes, fun little romance. Then we have 7 Days in June, which I want to read in June because of the name, only because of the name, and because it is super popular and I've heard great things about it. But I'm gonna wait till June and then I'm gonna read it, but I think in less than 7 days. Then we have One Italian Summer, which is again a summer, I don't know if it's a summer romance or just summer fiction book, but it takes place in Italy. I think the setting is just really stunning, so I really want to read that. And yeah, I think it's gonna be great. Then we have Alexa Approximately, because it is set in California, and I think it's about a little bit of traveling as well, and it seems really cute, YA romance. Then we have one of my most anticipated reads, and that is Happy Place by Emily Henry. It's actually her publishing day today, the 25th of April, but I did order the book. I actually ordered a signed copy, so I'm excited when that gets here to be able to read it. But yeah, again, Emily Henry's just the queen of beach reads, so yeah. Then we have Hotel Nantucket by Ellen Hilderbrand, and her new release that I don't know the name right now, but I'm gonna put them both here because Nantucket, you know, perfect summer books, so I'm gonna read those. And then we have Dial A for Aunties, which I think is also set in California. It has a lot of poetry, so that's why I want to read it, and I think it's gonna be a fun mystery book, so you know. Then we have The Honeymoon Crashers, which is a companion novel to The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren, and I'm really excited for that book because the setting was just so good in Hawaii, and so that's why I really want to read that book. Then we have What Happens After Midnight, which is the another book by the same author who wrote The Summer of Broken Rules, so that's why I want to read What Happens After Midnight, because I love that book. I want to read more of the author, and it's gonna come out this summer. And then we have One More with Feeling, who the same author who wrote, I don't remember the book, I'll pop it here, but I didn't love that book, but I'm excited for the new release, and the covers are just stunning, so I feel like I need to have the books, and I'm excited, so yeah. And then we have One Last Thriller by Lisa Jewell, which is one of my favorite thriller authors, and I think the book I Found You is set in a beach town or at the ocean again, so that's why I think it's perfect for summer. But yeah, those were all my recommendations and my summer TBR. I hope you found some great new recommendations for this summer. I love reading at the beach. I am currently living in Santa Barbara, so I am already reading at the beach, but it's just getting warmer and warmer, so you know, it's getting better and better, and I think summer is just the perfect time for a week to read a lot of books and have a great time, and for a lot of fun books, you know, that are just really enjoyable, not too deep, not too sad, nothing too crazy, but are just a lot of fun. And those books that I just named were a lot of fun, so yes. Anyways, those were all the books I wanted to recommend in this video. Let me know all your thoughts on those books if you have read them. If you have any more summer book recommendations, leave them in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope I see you in the next one. And yeah. Bye. I love you guys so much.